Lightning, throw thunder in jail. That's bad. Only last week, I murdered a rock, injured a stone, hospitalized a brick. I'm so mean, I make medicine sick.
What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Frasier Clark. Frasier Clark had this to say about Daniel Dubois versus Oleksandr Usyk, and this is what he said. Frasier Clark says that Daniel Dubois has a shot at the undisputed heavyweight crown on July 19th, but only if Usyk makes a rare mistake. He states that Dubois is powerful and dangerous, but Usyk isn't the kind of fighter to slip up easily. He's one of the smartest and most disciplined champs out there. Dubois will need his absolute best night and maybe some luck. Okay? And let me counterpunch. Basically, Frasier Clark is saying that Usyk is in that circle of people like Mayweather. That you're going to need someone to practice a bad habit in order for you to get a shot, and that's one thing we notice about Usyk, though. Usyk is a guy that he's pretty disciplined. Even when he gets caught, it's not because he wasn't, it wasn't because he was careless. It was basically because of the physicalities of the fight. Like, I remember the Bellew fight. Bellew was able to touch Usyk, but he wasn't really able to catch him necessarily on his chin. He was able to catch him, around the mandible and the temple area. You know what I mean? So he really got caught with shots like that, but it wasn't because his guard was down. You know what I mean? It was because he wasn't. He just the shots that were targeted, he was getting hit, and he wasn't blocking those particular areas. And I think Daniel Dubois is going to have to show us that he won't quit and will fight Oleksandr Usyk. I will cover a lot of that in my fight breakdown. But Frasier Clark's right. He's just going to need to come to a situation where hopefully Usyk, like he feels, he's a worn out fighter. And because he's worn out, and hopefully he's worn out enough, to land certain shots that normally he wouldn't land. You know what I mean? Because, that old overnight thing, that's a real thing when you do come to certain situations in certain fights. And it's a surprising thing even to the fighter. So when the fighter goes in there and he doesn't feel right, it's not something that he anticipated. It's just something that's happening due to Father Time. So that being said, they're dealing with that as well. It's just like punches that you thought that you will be able to take and you can't take. Reminds me of Andy Ruiz when he fought Chris Arreola. Even when you saw Andy Ruiz get caught with shots, he was like, well, what the hell? Why can't I take these shots? Because he got caught, in the second round and went down on his knee. And then the third round, he got caught with a left hook, and he was like, Jesus, what is this dude throwing? What is he, Antonio Margarito? What is this, Louis Resto? Who is this dude? You know what I mean? He got something in his gloves because he wasn't accustomed to taking those shots because, surprisingly, he couldn't handle those shots. It's the same with Father Time. If you go in there and you're not who you used to be, it's all a surprise at the same time. And what Frasier Clark is saying, he's saying, hey, you're going to need a little bit of that. You're going to need that luck, because that's luck. That's fortune. That's destined issues that nobody anticipated. You know what I mean? But I don't know if that will be the day, July 19th, that Oleksandr Usyk will have those type of problems. So we don't know. But, Daniel Dubois is still good. Daniel Dubois, I feel, is young, strong. I know a lot of people are hoping that he wins, and it's not the fact that I hope anyone wins. I just don't want any corruption, because that's something that we don't really need to discuss in that situation. I think, if anything, we need to see a definite winner. And if Daniel Dubois is the best man. You know, I give him all the credit in the world, but he has to do the business, you know. But hey, you guys tell me if you believe in Frasier Clark's assessment on Oleksandr Usyk. Does he need to slip up in order for Danny Dubois to win? Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch.